Oh, hello there, and welcome to this tour of Ähtäri Zoo in central Finland. And to get here, if you don't have a car, you actually have to uh, go by train. It's a small train that you just saw that goes from Seinäjoki to Jyväskylä. And the station's name is just Ähtäri, and by the station there is this weird Wild West town that definitely hasn't been used for anything, and I'm not sure what it was used for in the beginning even. Okay, so the train station is actually a bit away from Ähtäri, so you have to walk to get there, and it's about a 15-minute walk. And this is Ähtäri Golf, which you see when you walk to the zoo. So, the zoo is somewhat famous for having had pandas in the past. They left the zoo in 2024, and the zoo is also kind of famous for closing down in 2025. We will see how much we can talk about that. This is the entrance to the zoo, and we will go in and buy the tickets. They are not that cheap, as you see, a child for 17 euro, an adult for 21, but I have seen worse, of course. So you walk past this place that's called Flow Park, which is a kind of adventure park where you climb on these structures, which is a separate ticket. And then you enter the farm as the first area, and you can skip the farm, especially if you are in a hurry. You might want to skip the farm because there is not that many trains that go here if you are by train. But the farm is the first area you come to, and you will see chicken here, and you will soon see horses and cows too. But yeah, this gives me a little bit time to talk about Ähtäri. It used to be run by the municipality, which also is called Ähtäri, and it's in central Finland in the middle of nowhere. It's a zoo that specializes in Finnish animals, but also has other animals that you can keep in the middle of the forest in a small zoo. And of course they have a farm section with farm animals, as you see with this little horse here, and the cows you just saw. And yes, here is the habitat for the house cat, and it's funny because it was this building it was in, and then it had a cage on the outside, and then you could walk into this and see an old school. It seems to be an old school room or something like that. And then I buy the goat habitat and can't find the goats. They were probably not out this day. They were off exhibit for some reason. But yes, the zoo had giant pandas from 2017 to 2024, but pandas are quite expensive to have. They just eat bamboo, which isn't the cheapest thing ever, and also you have to pay China for having them. So in 2024 they sent the pandas back, and here is one of the few specific breeds they have here, which is the Finn sheep, a Finnish specific local breed of sheep. And this was a funny situation because this was where they kept the rabbits, and the keepers were trying to catch them to move them to the outside cage, but they weren't really willing to be caught. But yeah, about the pandas. So they don't have pandas anymore, or do they? And you could see that in the marketing they also still had marketed pandas, which they don't have, or do they? Anyways, the zoo closed down in the fall of 2025, and now we are finally at the wild animal area, which starts with a domesticated animal, domesticated reindeer. But yes, the zoo closed down in the fall of 2025 and opened again under a new management, now run by an association called Vierailija Välitä, which is an association run by the staff of the zoo. And here we have the European fallow deer. This is of course a deer that is quite normal throughout Europe. It existed in Europe before the Ice Age, not before the Ice Age, during the last interglacial age, and then went extinct during the glacial age and has been reintroduced actually to Europe already by the Romans and the Greeks because they thought it looked nice and wanted to hunt it. But here we have the wolverine habitat, and I used to think you never see wolverines at zoos, and I have been on 3 zoos and seen wolverine at all of them. I saw the wolverine at Nordens Ark, and I saw the wolverine at Skansen, and now I see the very active wolverine also here at Ähtäri. Wolverines are they are rising on my list towards being some of my favorite animals, just because how often I see them active. And yes, wolverines aren't only in Lapland as some people think. They are not in the most southern part of Finland, but as soon as you are a little bit north, you are in the wolverine country, basically. And they can move very long spaces in the wild, so that's why it's good if they have a large habitat. They can move a lot in, because they are an animal that moves around a lot. This is not as good as the Skansen habitat, but the Skansen habitat was a former wolf habitat, so there is that. And the Nordens Ark habitat is of course the best wolverine habitat ever, so no contest really. And they had 2 wolverines here, which I think is unusual. Usually I don't think they are that social. You can't really have more than one at the same time in the same habitat. And this was then the habitat for the takin, and I didn't get good footage of the takin early, but I had some time to beeline back to here later and got better footage. And the takin is of course a large animal, kind of goat or antelope-like animal that is from the Himalayas in Asia. So this is one of those animals that are not from Finland or Finnish nature. They actually have a decent Himalayan collection. When I think about it, there are like 3 animals, but 3 animals is a collection already. This is another Himalayan animal that I actually couldn't see. This was the habitats for the snow leopard, and as you see, it's actually 2 habitats, and it wasn't in either of them. There is reasons why you split it in 2 habitats. It's so you can rotate the animal, so it's not always in the same place. And if you have more than 1 snow leopard, you want to have them separated most of the time, because they are not social animals at all. So yeah, but there was no snow leopard to be seen, unfortunately. But the habitat is pretty nice and spacious. I think the snow leopards was hanging out in their indoor section. They didn't want to come out this day, so that's unfortunate. And now we are at the otter habitat, and I couldn't see the otter either. The otter is of course the Eurasian otter, but this was also a nice habitat for it, and it could basically have been hiding anywhere, but otters are also quite nocturnal animals, so it's very possible it was just asleep because it was day. Yeah, but the habitat is very nice here for the otter. Have much space to roam around, and of course it's an animal that needs a water section because it's semi-aquatic. And yeah, if it was active, you could here see it swim in the water if it was there, would have been there at the time. Yeah, Ähtäri is actually in the middle of Finland, as you will see here. Middle of Finland has a lot of small lakes everywhere, and that gives it a special feeling to see them, a lot of small lakes in the middle of the wild, and that is one of the charms with Ähtäri. I think it's in the middle of a forest by a lake. It's the same like being on Nordensark actually. The zoo is in the middle of the wild. It gives you a feeling of the wild that you might not get in the middle of a city zoo. And this was a place where you could yeah. Anyway, we are moving on. We are coming up on the next habitat, and this will be the last habitat for part 1 of this tour. This is the habitat of the largest land animal in Europe, the wisent. And you can already see it in the distance, yes, the European bison or the wisent. This is an animal that was almost extinct in the wild. They were just around in one national park in Poland, and now fortunately there are a lot of reintroduction work to get it back to its whole range all around Central Europe. And as I understand, have been quite successful too. But it's always very nice to see a large animal like the wisent.